Hit it. Okay. My name is Deborah Raffety. I am from a bunch of Western Kansas small towns. So I was born in Buckland, Kansas, which is a town of about 700. I wanted to be a teacher from the time I was in 3rd grade. I was 8 years old, and my teacher was Mrs. Fath, and she was so amazing. And I remember that she turned 24 that year, and that became my favorite number. I just loved her. And I couldn't really tell you why I loved her. So I asked my mom ages later. I said, what was it about Mrs. Fath that made me want to become a teacher? And Mom said it was just the way that she just kept encouraging you and just said, yep, you can do this. And I'm going to challenge you to do this next step. And always, it was never get from point A to point Z. It was get from A to B, okay, now to C. And she just guided me along that. And I just really blossomed under her. So I wanted to help others do that. Favorite vacation is always to Colorado, to the San Juan Mountains. Yeah, Silverton, Colorado is my happy place. And so we probably go there at least once a year. Usually, even in the winter, we'll go up and be trapped in the mountains. When I was 28, I used to snow ski all the time. I loved it, and I was pretty good at it. But it was the last run of the day. I ended up tearing my ACL. And so I had to have that reconstructed 1 year ago, a full knee replacement. So skiing's kind of hard on my knees now, so I just enjoy the snow. My very first teaching job was in a small town. I was from a small town, and I decided I wanted to go back to a small town. So I went to Medicine Lodge, Kansas, and I was their kindergarten through 5th grade music teacher for 2 years, and that's where I started. And then I decided I was ready to get back to a bigger city, so I came here. So before coming to Barstow, I was still an elementary music teacher, but I was right here in the suburban area. One of the things I learned after going to Medicine Lodge was that having gone from a small town to KU and then back to small town, I didn't have the support structure that I needed there. So I came back to where I knew people. And I had gotten my degree in school leadership, and I had thought that I would like to cross over into leadership, but the right opportunity never came. And it was 2 years ago, actually, that I started at Barstow when they needed a new assistant director for lower school. And so some people reached out to me and said, I think you might be interested in this. And I'm so glad I made the jump. It's been great. One of the things I love about Barstow is really probably what my small town roots bring me, is that it is such a small community. And I love that it is preschool prep through 12th grade, all under the same roof, so that we get to really celebrate as kids grow and we get to do things together. That's huge. One of the really special things coming from a public school situation to Barstow that really stands out is just class size and just the fact that teachers know their students. And I just think that's so valuable. People do not expect me to have a motorcycle license. I do. They would probably expect that I don't really ride very much on my own, because while I completely trust my husband and I will hop on the back of his motorcycle and we'll go zooming off, I don't trust myself enough. So I never go over 47 miles an hour when it's just me. I love to travel during vacations. My husband and I, we have a 5th wheel and we have a couple of dogs and we have a motorcycle. So we load it all up and we go about the country and we take little day trips here and there and just relax and enjoy nature. So after a long day, I just love to go home. My husband is my world, my dogs. I love to spend time with them, watching. We're big documentary kind of people. We like history. We also like all things music. My husband is also a guitar player, so we do a lot of watching about electric guitars and amplifiers and pedals. We do travel documentaries, and then sometimes we just delve into a series. My parents are They are why I am who I am. And my dad particularly, he just spoke phrases and he was just teaching constantly, but in a really fun way. Every time we went out to eat, and it was time to tip, he's like, oh, let's encourage them along in the struggle of life. He was so kind to people. And he was a relational person, and I just admire how he just loved everybody, accepted them for who they were, but at the same time, encouraged them to be better. And that's what I want. One of the things my parents instilled in me is there are very few times that we're actually in crisis. Sometimes we like to catastrophize all kinds of things, but most of the time we're not really in crisis. We just have problems and we need people to help us through that. So who you surround yourself, that matters. And of course, when I was growing up, I had them and I had my friends. But when I had that knee surgery, that very first one, I was an adult and I was on my own and I couldn't drive. And I needed my people to take care of me. And they really did. And it was kind of a test of, have I surrounded myself with people who care about me and they know I care about them? Yeah. I think that it is very important that people know that undoubtedly, cream cheese is the world's most perfect food. I want you to think about it. It can be breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's part of dessert. It can be sweet. It can be savory. There is no food that is not benefited by the addition of a little extra cream cheese. And that's all I have.